Hi, I'm Gabe.
I'm Kelly.
Hi, I'm Vashida.
And because Gabe doesn't want us to talk, that's all I want to do.
Talk.
Well, now I'm allowed to talk, so now I don't want to talk.
I just didn't want you giggling when the
Oh, I
video
wasn't giggling.
started.
I was just chatting.
What are we chatting about?
Things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
Gabe is back in the hot spot,
Yeah.
the hot seat, in the unflattering angles.
Wearing here, showing off, modeling the t-shirts.
Yes.
I am pro-choice.
Yes, we have new t-shirts that if you volunteer with us, you can get, because they're our State House t-shirts.
How, admitting the fact that there isn't a link on the website at this time to volunteer.
Oh, I'm going to murder you.
There will be. How can people volunteer with us? And what will they be doing when they volunteer?
Well, we have Crafternoon this upcoming Sunday. So if people want to make yarn fabrics for a yarn installation, then that's one way they can volunteer. We have 2 fun banks in April, which will be fun. If you come to the State House, honestly, if you just come to the State House for a hearing, I will happily bring you a t-shirt so you can show off that you're part of our crew. There's lots of ways. I mean, honestly, if you want to come in and make buttons, I will give you a t-shirt. It is real easy to get a t-shirt. Otherwise, you can just buy one.
And then get a hold of you by emailing you at volunteer@prochoiceohio.
Yes. Or if they know me already, they can get in touch with me on Facebook.
Right.
I'm really easy to talk to on Facebook. If you're an anti-choicer, I'm not going to add you. If you're a cop, I'm not going to add you, but most everybody else.
At least you're honest.
Yeah.
And by the time this goes up, there will be a link on the website. We just redid the website, so there's a lot of things.
How long has there not been a volunteer button? I'm gonna murder you.
There will be by the time this airs. So.
And then maybe one day there will also be a Pro-Choice Ohio store.
Yes, that I can't make happen today. But I can't make the volunteer.
We are
doing my
best.
Yes.
But so volunteers.
We have a lot of good swag going on though. We've gotten t-shirts and we've gotten megaphones, which will be cool for rallies. And
awesome.
We've got a lot of buttons.
Happening. Yeah.
And this summer we're gonna have sunglasses. And we're gonna get new pins with our new logo and that have purple ink.
Slowly but surely.
I'm very excited about this because I'm the one in charge of it, and very little things excite me.
Yes. The volunteers excite me the most. So it's terrific that people come. That's a great thing.
Yes.
That people come and, do a little bit of participating to try and help move the pro-choice movement forward.
I mean, this is a very important year. This 2018 midterm year, we need all the volunteers we can get. So
please
come out, volunteer with us, get t-shirts, help us make buttons, help us try to engage the community in all the work that we'll be doing.
Yes, our April phone banks are going to be electoral focused. So we don't have a March phone bank. We have 2 April ones, which will be before the May primary.
Yes.
So if you committed your 2018 to working the midterms and getting involved in the election, well, we got plenty of opportunities for you starting
save all of your energy and start next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the election coming up, we have not released any endorsements yet.
Nope. Which is why they're in April and not in March.
Right. But there are pro-choice candidates running for office in the primary that we want to support just by boosting turnout of pro-choice voters.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which, it's always a good thing. So that's sort of where we're starting with volunteer activity is encouraging other Ohioans who support access to safe and legal abortion care, to reproductive health care, to get them to start talking with their neighbors about the importance of voting and voting for the pro-choice candidate in whatever race they're turning out for.
And then, as soon as the primary season is over, we're going to be going real hard this summer for festival season. So you can volunteer literally every weekend.
Yes.
And we will have a schedule of that out as well. At some point, we're going to be putting out a schedule that Gabe will help us put on the website where people can actually sign up.
Come find us.
Yes. For what they want to volunteer for. And that'll make it a lot easier. But we have so much coming up. It's going to be an exciting year. So
anybody want to join me at the Pawpaw Festival in September?
The what?
The Pawpaw Festival. Pawpaws are the largest native tree fruit, in the country, and they are the state fruit of Ohio. So I'm ashamed you don't know that.
I'm ashamed I don't know it either. But
I've never had a pawpaw.
Actually, I'm not ashamed, but
it's kind of like an apple full of pudding.
Oh, ew, that sounds gross.
I've actually heard it's really good. It's like the texture of a banana.
Ew.
You don't like bananas?
I like bananas, but not inside of an apple. Or not inside of the texture of a like fruit. Like, I don't know.
Okay, you're having a hard time conceiving of this fruit. That's fair.
It's different.
Fair enough.
There is a Pawpaw Festival.
It's always the weekend of my birthday, so I'm gonna go this year.
Happy birthday.
It's in September.
Yeah, then at that time.
Thanks, Gabe.
You're welcome.
Well, enough of pawpaws.
But we do a bunch of festivals though.
Yeah, I'm actually just gonna go to the Pawpaw Festival. If I have a table, I will, but I mostly just want to go.
Right.
Yeah, because we've never done it, and I've never done it with any other organization I've worked for. So you guys can't fault me for knowing.
It's in Southeast Ohio. It's a place to go, to be.
Oh.
Right. Tabling at festivals is always kind of combination of fun and important. You're out at a festival, there's food and sunshine and music, and you're just hanging out, but then also normally standing there with a clipboard asking people to sign whatever our petition of the year is.
And you get some very different types of personalities and people that you wouldn't necessarily get that you would get otherwise, because well, it's going to be a very different crowd that will be at Pride versus at the Pawpaw Festival, probably.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing this year will be a lot of volunteer focused and, just a lot of other focus related things pertaining to this midterm election year and things like that. And so, we'll have probably some other volunteers who are interested in not just being at, Pride Festival for just what it's worth, but, just pertaining to what's going on in this electoral year.
It's a good way to get into a festival without having to pay sometimes. So if you're like, I want to go there, but I don't have money to go there, you can volunteer.
Do you have
That's
to pay
true,
to go to
too.
the Pawpaw Festival?
Yes, that one you do.
You do?
Uh-huh.
I know you have to pay to go to the Gourd Festival, which my wife always loves going to, and I'm like,
What Gourd
How many
Festival?
festivals
There's
do you
so
have?
many
I don't know.
festivals. There's so
ton of
many.
festivals.
Columbus Underground or Columbus Alive usually releases a schedule of all the festivals that are happening over the summer. Like there's
Right.
so many. I'm gonna go to a lavender festival in June.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
My wife likes the Gourd Festival. So.
Where is the Gourd Festival? Is it different than the Centerville Pumpkin Show?
I think it's moved around, and I think last time it was in Delaware.
It's not far.
They love gourds.
So are these like smaller festivals? Is that why
Some of them
they're not heard of?
Some
Oh,
of them
the
are
Centerville
massive.
The Centerville Pumpkin Show is huge.
Yeah, I heard of that
Okay.
one. Yeah, and I've heard of like some of the other bigger ones, but like
Well,
I don't know.
As of right now, the Lavender Festival has 18,000 people marked as interested. So,
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe we
Who would've
maybe we
thought?
should table at the Lavender Festival.
I'm
Yeah.
all for it.
Yeah. My hometown has a strawberry festival, and
I've
it's
heard of that actually.
it's like
Troy?
20,000 people. Yeah. 20,000
Yeah.
people come to that thing.
Is it
every
in
year,
June?
so it is. So
June is peak strawberry season.
yes, it makes sense.
I'm all
You
about the
would know
local
these.
foods.
Exactly. You would know these strange facts. Not really strange, but like
That's a perfectly reasonable fact.
So moving back from festivals and onto the
We're just
volunteer
ready for
bit.
the spring, okay?
There were some volunteers who turned out yesterday at the State House for one of the hearings. You mentioned hearings.
Yes, yesterday's hearing, it was the final hearing in the House for SB 28, the fetal tissue disposal bill.
Yes.
Usually, I mean, maybe not usually, but often this is the hearing that you'll hear from both sides, like proponent and opponent. But there was only opponent testimony for this bill yesterday. And
Yes.
it was our own Jamie Miracle and then Gary, is his last name Daniels?
Yes.
Gary Daniels from the ACLU. Those were
Yep.
the only two people to testify against this bill. There was no testimony from our friends at Planned Parenthood, and there was no proponent testimony that went on yesterday.
I think proponents had testified the week prior. They'd already had their shot at it, so this was our turn.
No, we also already did our testimony. It was supposed to be both. It was the third hearing, so it's proponent and opponent.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was no proponent testimony.
But there were questions from Republicans on the committee who support this idea that abortion providers should be treated differently from all other medical facilities, implementing brand new standards, increased costs, added restrictions, additional reporting requirements that no other medical provider that does similar work has to fill out.
This isn't new. Like as far as I know, the only medical procedure in the state of Ohio that requires any sort of reporting is abortion. Like if you have complications from plastic surgery, there's no reliable statistic because there's no required reporting.
Right.
So it only, like, I personally think that if there's going to be reporting for any like medical procedures, it should be all of them, because I would really like to know, like, what is the rate of this hospital's like number of C-sections or number of like emergencies. Like, I think that it was a useful statistics to have.
Yes.
So I just assumed when I started this job that it was just any medical procedure you have has like some sort of reporting to the state, like the Department of Health.
Right.
And no, as it turns out, it's actually only abortion. Like, that is like, Ohio has great statistics for like what happens with abortion in the state, but that is because it is the only medical procedure that is required to have any sort of reporting, which is weird to me.
You know, having worked for Planned Parenthood in the past and seeing the healthcare side of the organization as just a healthcare provider, I get why hospitals wouldn't want to have to fill out a form for the state every single time they do something. It doesn't sound, it sounds like a reasonable thing the way you describe it, but if you're talking about an entire hospital chain,
oh no, more bureaucracy.
It would be huge. And so there is a legitimate reason why hospitals would not want that. There's also that same legitimate reason why abortion providers are saying, listen, if you're forcing us to make these increased reports into the state that don't have any benefit to the patients, this does increase our costs. This is an undue burden. That's the aspect of this bill that's really most blatantly unconstitutional, because you're applying something that increased the cost of only abortion providers. There's no reason to do, it would be nice, but
I think it's a reasonable ask of hospitals and like of other medical like procedures to be done, especially as it relates to maternal health, especially in the state of Ohio. But it's unreasonable to have it only apply to abortion.
Yeah. The big part of the bill that gets most of the headlines is forcing women to choose burial or cremation.
Mm-hmm.
The
Representative Ginter was like, he had a quabble. That's not a word. He had a problem with the word.
He has a lot of problems.
I mean, yes. He didn't like that Jamie didn't consider this to be options. He was like, well, if you go to a restaurant and you're given 2 options for drinks, you still have options. It's like, well, if they don't have and as Jamie retorted, well, if they don't have what I want, I can leave and go somewhere else to get what I do want, which what people in the state of Ohio do not have for abortion.
Right.
Exactly.
They do, but those are not safe legal options. So
yeah.
Right. And I thought his restaurant analogy was, not great.
Well, no.
But sticking with it, if the waitress came up and says, well, you have the option of Coke or Pepsi, and before it was
I want a Sprite,
Dr. Pepper, Diet Coke, water, tea, coffee, now it's just Coke or Pepsi, that's not giving you options, that's reducing options. That's eliminating possibilities, which, now also come with
additional costs.
It's like saying, well, do you want Coke or Pepsi? But by the way, they each cost $20 a glass. That's what they're doing.
No refills.
With no benefit. This bill presents many undue burdens.
Absolutely.
Only designed to increase costs. And anytime you increase costs, you reduce access to abortion for women who are struggling to pay for the procedure.
To begin with.
Right.
Yeah. And sorry, I've had too many things in my brain today, so I get distracted like every time I open my mouth. Oh, there's a bug on the wall.
So this bill got voted
favorably out of committee. Yeah.
Yes.
But another thing that I think the bill initially only applied to abortion providers, so it wouldn't apply to hospitals that do abortion care. But I think it does now. Maybe. I don't know.
No, that was an amendment that was offered by a Republican, Mike Duffy. That amendment was rejected. The committee
saying
chair,
it was not relevant or out of order.
He ruled the thing out of order. So Duffy, like what we were talking about, how this applies certain restrictions to abortion providers, but not to other facilities. You would be forced to choose burial or cremation in an abortion, but you would not in a miscarriage. So they're treating fetal tissue differently
for abortion.
Duffy's amendment said no, let's if you think this rule is necessary, let's apply it evenly
across
the board. Yeah. And the chairman did not want to even entertain that, ruled it out of order, did not allow a committee vote. He just said, no, we're not going to do that. He told him, if you want to bring this amendment to the House floor, you can try it there, but you're not doing this in my committee.
And another point that was raised was, damn it. My brain is not operating well today.
Keep thinking about it.
I'm doing my best. Well, at least one point that was raised mostly by the Democrats in committee was that it doesn't apply to miscarriages, only abortions.
Yes.
And I think that was another point that, Duffy actually voted no against this bill because of that.
Right. It got bipartisan opposition.
Mm-hmm, because he wants it to apply to miscarriage as well. Like, all fetal tissue should be disposed of humanely, I say in air quotes, which is only cremation or burial, apparently. And as it stands, like, people do have that option when they have an abortion or miscarriage. Like, they can opt to cremate or bury if it's a wanted pregnancy or not a wanted pregnancy or a complicated pregnancy.
Right.
But it is at their cost. It is not at the cost of the provider.
Right.
And like, that's the big thing about what this bill does, is it makes the provider eat that cost instead of the patient.
Right. The point you made about forms of treatment being humanely, and I think you're being sarcastic there. But just to emphasize, what they're doing right now is humane. What they're doing right now is responsible. It's ethical. It's environmentally responsible. Mm-hmm. It's what hospitals do.
I mean, I personally don't think that burial is humane at all, but that's a different topic.
Well, yeah.
It's not environmentally humane, but that's a different topic.
Right. The choices that you're right. The choices that they are forcing upon people are less environmentally friendly than what they're currently doing. There's a reason why, the medical industry standard is what it is. There's a reason why
they want literal fetal graveyards.
That's what they want.
They want optics that make these metaphorical graveyards that they do during 40 Days for Life actual and real.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Yes. So, and an unconstitutional undue burden.
Mm-hmm.
So the bill could move to the House, but not if we are able to stop it. So put a link in the show notes, email your representative, tell them, no, this bill is unconstitutional. Yes. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars, in that they're going to have to defend this in court. And, we know that they'll lose because it's already been blocked in Indiana. And it's an increased cost to women seeking abortion. It's a terrible bill across the board, should not receive a vote in the House of Representatives.
It wastes the time of funeral directors who have actual people to bury.
It wastes the time of legislators who have actual problems to solve.
Yeah, real problems in our communities. And one thing I want to start doing too is when, like, Kelly and whenever we hire a new organizer starts, whenever there's phone banks and stuff, we want to have people who don't like to talk on phones come in and start actually writing letters to legislators about these type of things, so that we can stop some of these unconstitutional bills and stop wasting taxpayers' time and money on some of these things. So
right. And ultimately it becomes Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine, his choice as to whether he wants to spend more money to defend.
And he always will.
Yeah. And he always will. He always has. Yeah. He's just been burning cash.
Oh, literally.
Does somebody run for Attorney General? Is that an appointed position?
Welcome to Ohio.
Yeah.
With your South Carolina shirt on. Somebody runs for Attorney General. We will get to vote on a new Attorney General.
Who's even running for Attorney General?
It is. It is.
Ask our political director.
It is.
Name the candidates.
I don't want to be wrong, but I want to say it is. It's on the tip of my
He's
tongue.
Googling it.
No, I know it, and I'm going to say it, but I don't want to be wrong. It is. What's his name? That was the former president. Why can't I think of his name right now? Oh wait, no, maybe he's running for auditor. Oh, God, I can't even think. But wait, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Let me think. His picture isn't in my head, but I can't, like, his name.
But
is
it's
just
a white man.
Of course, it's a white man. Yeah, you guys pulled it up.
Yeah,
let me know when you get it.
Ballotpedia says, "Am I gonna beat Gabe?"
Probably. This isn't giving me the current information here.
Let's see.
We're going to have to edit this out.
Oh, no.
So this is why we need to do candidate
ballots.
Steve Dettelbach
and Dave Yost.
Dave Yost.
Yost.
Dave Yost is the current state auditor. Steve Dettelbach is...
Okay, see, I was thinking of that. So it's
Dettelbach's been endorsed by Beatty, Tim Ryan,
because we
Marsha
were
Fudge,
in contact with
and the Human Rights Campaign.
Dettelbach, however we pronounce his name.
Right.
He actually filled out our endorsement form.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
So both of these are running unopposed, which is why the names don't stick out in our heads as in this primary election.
It's not really a primary. Yeah.
You won't have options, once you sign up for a Democratic ballot or if you're a Republican. What are you doing listening to the show?
I knew auditor was in there somewhere, though.
But so the current Attorney General, Mike DeWine, he's the one that's making the decision right now as to exactly how much money of Ohio taxpayers to spend challenging these unconstitutional bills.
Yes.
The Down syndrome abortion ban got challenged by the ACLU. They filed a lawsuit in conjunction with Planned Parenthood, Preterm, Women's Med Center. They're all filing together to say, hey, the Down syndrome abortion ban, we told you it was unconstitutional when you passed it. It is still unconstitutional.
As it turns
Dear
out,
courts, please tell them, hey, this is unconstitutional.
It will remain unconstitutional. Yes.
Senate Bill 28 would be the exact same thing.
Correct.
If Republicans make the mistake of actually trying to enact it into law.
Correct. Yes. And we all know that Mike DeWine has a horrible track record when it comes to anything.
Don't vote for him for governor.
Please don't. Yeah,
don't vote for him for anything. No, let him retreat into the background as an old, sad man.
Unfortunately, because of who he is and the amount of money that he has, that will never happen. But we are here to fight against anything that he does and, you know, who he is as a person. But he does have a really bad track record when it comes to anything related to, abortions and,
testing rape
things
kits
that he's done.
Yeah.
Sadly, anything that he's done in the past. So yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's what's happening at the State House. Should we talk about Lobby Day coming up?
We should.
Advocacy Day?
Advocacy Day. Yes. Thank you.
Advocacy Day is April 10th this year.
Yes.
Which is 1 month after Abortion Provider Appreciation Day, which is next Saturday.
Let's talk about that first then.
There you go.
What's Abortion Provider Appreciation Day?
It is a day where you take time out of your day to appreciate the abortion providers that you know. If you're interested in coming out and hanging out in Columbus, March 7th, we're going to be doing a happy hour at St. James Tavern on 4th Street, raising money to create little care packages and thank you packages for our abortion providers, and also writing thank you notes to them and stuff. So
that's very cool.
Yeah. Should people make something, or are they going to come in and make things? How does that work?
I mean, I'm not opposed to people making things. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
We also have an event going on that day that is technically secret. So
okay,
it's only for our volunteers that are in the know.
Attention, radio listeners.
Keep your eyes out on our website for cool things happening after abortion provider appreciation.
Contact Kelly if you want more information. Is that
you
right?
want to do some minor acts of vandalism, but in a good way.
Okay. Non-illegal vandalism.
Yes. Vandalism with consent.
Okay. So that's Abortion Provider Appreciation Day. The Freedom of Choice Ohio Advocacy Day will be at the State House on April 10th.
Yes. This is actually one of my favorite events because back in 2015, this was my first repro event, and I met lots of people who I now consider dear friends, and that's when I learned about Reproductive Health Happy Hour and what led me down the path I'm on now for my career. And I wore a dress, and it was April, and it was dumb, and I was cold because Ohio doesn't make any sense.
Yes. It always seems to be rainy that day.
Yes. Yeah. It's a really cool opportunity to meet your legislators. If you're not somebody who gets to the Capitol very often, or you just don't contact your legislators very often, this is a time where you can actually meet with them one-on-one in their office. Often it's an aid because Republicans don't actually like to say hi to us very often. But it's still a really good time, and I totally recommend coming out.
Yeah.
Food is included.
Yep.
You get to hang out with us.
Food is included.
Free.
Yeah. We're hoping to get some cool speakers.
It's not free.
It is not
okay.
free.
Yeah.
It is $15 if you're a general admission person, not a student, and $5 if you are a student.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. Okay.
Yeah. We have to rent the Athenaeum. We have to pay for the food. So it's not.
Yeah, I was just wondering. Yeah, is it free? No. Okay. Yeah.
It's an investment, but it's totally worth it.
Okay.
Yes. So, and it's not a NARAL event.
No.
It's a Freedom of Choice Ohio Coalition event.
Yes.
So, this is partially us. NARAL Pro Choice Ohio working with ACLU Ohio, Planned Parenthood Advocates of Ohio,
Women Have Options, National Coalition of Jewish Women.
Yep. League of Women Voters, New Voices. Oh, I shouldn't have started naming them because you got to name them all.
There's a long list of wonderful people and wonderful organizations.
Urge.
Yes.
So just come out. Enjoy.
Tri-State Freethinkers, I think, is now part of it.
Many groups, link in the show notes. Event registration is open. We just set that up this week. An email is going out later today. So if you're on our email list, you'll get an invite to sign up for that. Terrific event to get to see the State House, get to meet either your legislator or their staff.
It's a good primer for like getting involved.
Yeah.
And this is the year to get involved.
Yes, 100%.
Right. We definitely have had many anti-choice restrictions.
Yes.
No matter what happens between now and April 10th, there will still be additional bills that need talked about. And for many of these elected officials, this isn't, that most of them aren't term limited. They'll be back 2 years later if they get reelected, Republican or Democrat.
And there will be more bills coming down the pipeline. I mean, always. So.
They definitely need education. They need to meet pro-choice voters from their district.
I agree.
And to hear them talk about why they value access to affordable reproductive health care, including safe and legal abortion.
And if you can't make it to lobby day, but you still are interested in lobbying your elected official, send me an email and we can try and set something up in district so you don't even have to leave your county.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like your lunch and learn.
Yes, lunch and lobby.
Lunch and lobby.
Yeah.
When's the next one of those coming up?
It's going to be March 22nd at the University of Cincinnati with Bridget Gelly.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's going to be a primer on lobbying and then talks with Bridget Gelly, and people are going to ask her questions.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's a great representative. She did the welcome speech at the previous lobby day.
Yay.
Advocacy day.
Yeah, I mean, since I get to choose the legislators, they generally tend to be pro-choice. Also, I don't think the anti-choice ones would accept my invitation.
Probably not. They should. They should all.
Hello,
I agree.
Peggy. Hello, Niraj.
Yes,
I don't want to invite him. He'd be mean.
Probably. Yeah, well.
And I'll be like, oh, well, that's nice because you look like you're 27. You had a birthday this week? Oh, you look like you're 54.
It's such a weird thing when suddenly the legislators are younger than.
I hate it. I want to fight him. I want to fight Niraj. He's like 5 months younger than me, and I want to just meet him in a bar and kick his ass.
Well,
I can't say that on the radio.
Yeah. So just from my point of view, it's weird having people younger and then I have to hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. You know, and
you would never ma'am me?
No. But I'm just, I'm standing there thinking that,
normally, kid.
This legislator was born when I was in high school.
I just be like, I don't know. I just say hi and keep it pushing, and for the older ones, I'm definitely respectful, but
you're only 11 years older than me.
Only?
That's not high school.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the legislators.
Yeah, Niraj is only 5 months younger than I am. He's the youngest.
Okay.
I'm going to correct you specifically every time I can. Yeah, I know.
Ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
It's weird.
It's also really frustrating to me as a younger person, I guess. If I ran for a House rep, I just wouldn't be as much of a jerk as they are.
Yeah.
I feel like
that.
I get paid for it.
Yeah. I feel like the youngest legislators are the meanest because I guess they feel like they have something to prove.
It's an abuse of power.
They kind of do.
Yeah.
They kind of don't. You don't have something to prove.
They got elected.
Exactly. It's abuse of power. There's no need to be a jerk. Gabe, there's not.
There's a need to get recognized when you
But you were elected. What's the need to be recognized? Do your job, but you can be respectful and kind when you're doing it.
It's honestly,
I'm not saying that they should be rude, but they need to stand out, or else they'll never move up.
Okay, so stand out by being a kind and useful individual.
Over. Don't be a pushover. I always say that, but I don't think you need to be rude. So that's
I mean, honestly, like if they're,
I don't know.
He and Hagen are going to be like theoretically leaders.
They're just downright mean.
Yeah, and if they continue to be in the legislature, they're going
to no way defend.
Stop interrupting me. Sorry. If they continue to be in the legislature, they will eventually be leaders, and they will eventually probably be some of the older members in the legislature, and they're going to be leading the conversation and leading how they like. They're going to be representatives of how people act in the legislature. Exactly. So we're going to see meaner people showing up.
Exactly. And some of the ones that I've dealt with are extremely nice, and you want that to continue. But then if you look at someone that's, continuing to be extremely rude and mean, that's the behavior that
and I wonder, is he,
we don't want to
are they this way to their constituents?
And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, and their staff, hopefully not. I mean, you never know, but
I was just trying to say they need to be assertive.
Yeah, we can be assertive without being mean.
There's a degree of being assertive, but
I understand like they need to be recognized, but like there are much better ways to do it than what they are doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I yield.
I'm still gonna fight him. I'm gonna meet him in a bar in Columbus, and I've always wanted to get in a bar fight, and I would very happily.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in so much trouble if anyone ever actually listens to this podcast.
They do. Actually, there have been many people that we've interviewed who said they did.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
If you're applying for a job in NARAL, Portos, Ohio, please do listen to the podcast.
I didn't. I'm not a podcast listener.
You should be.
I'm not a good listener.
It's interesting. I've been on like social media, Twitter, and there's a lot of people who are doing more like podcasting, and a lot of people actually listen to them more than I realized. Yeah.
I like them.
It's becoming more popular. So
I try to listen to books, and then I like zone out for 20 minutes, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Oh, that's the same way I am. I can't do books on tape. I'm like, it's like 3 chapters later. I'm like, wait a minute. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I tried listening to Welcome to Night Vale because I like the kind of absurdist humor. And like, I guess it's nice because if you zone out 20 minutes later, it's okay to not know what's going on because that's kind of the point of the podcast. But I'm also just like, I've missed some in jokes of this, and I don't know what's going on in this universe anymore.
Yeah.
So what's going on in universe in the NARAL podcast?
Okay. Well, that's a full show. We still have stuff you want to talk about, or
I mean, if it's important,
guns.
If it's not, then that is important.
Guns
talk about it?
Very sad, though. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and
the shooting in Georgia with the armed teacher.
Right.
Before we actually armed teachers, right?
Yeah, Florida actually did vote to arm teachers. Like the students were like, "Please don't," and the House were like, whatever."
I don't understand the Florida legislature.
I imagine they're a lot like the Ohio one because you can now carry guns in daycares in Ohio.
But all of the legislators make sure that they are securely, like, you can't get into any of the buildings that they're in, with a gun. So they're make sure that they're protected. But you can go to daycares and colleges and everywhere else with a firearm.
Yeah, it's way harder to even get to the Ripe Center.
Exactly. But you need a daycare. You need a gun at the daycare. Like, I'm so confused.
Right.
Why?
No, I understand the Florida legislature voting the way that they did because that's their point of view. Like, I don't agree with it. I just don't understand holding those votes that day. Don't you just say, hey, let's postpone this vote for a while until we don't have the national media all staring down at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Postpone the vote.
Right.
That's what I don't get.
I don't get that either.
I definitely disagree with the votes that they cast.
Correct.
But just,
And then yesterday in Georgia,
talk about legislators being jerks.
A teacher barricaded himself in a room with a gun.
Right. Demonstrating why guns in classrooms is always a bad idea.
Yeah. And no students were hurt.
Thankfully.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah. I think the first thing that happens if you put guns in classrooms is you're probably going to have an increased rate of suicide in schools.
Ah!
Thanks.
Sorry. I just really don't like that.
I think that's the first thing that happens. These are some of the
consequences.
I mean, there's going to be some teachers or like students that are smarter than the teachers because that happens too.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are going to be consequences for these actions. And so, that's going to be one of them. And I don't think that any of this is being thought through.
No. Well, and yesterday, Trump appeared in the cabinet room in the White House as part of a roundtable and said that his point of view is we should just take the guns away from people and we'll do due process later, which people on cable news were saying that that's the most far left anti-gun statement ever spoken out loud by a president ever.
Yes, he should just stop speaking out loud.
That's polar opposite of the NRA and his own party's policies. And so people were like, did Donald Trump just go, past Obama in supporting gun control legislation?
It's so weird.
And that's why you don't know what to expect with this man.
Exactly.
Like what are you?
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird. You never know from day to day what you're going to get, what you're not going to get.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's puzzling. And you
ban
know that
guns. Ban.
You know that guns. What he's saying right there is never going to transform itself into any actual policy enacted.
Absolutely.
It's just the random things falling out of his mouth at that time.
So do you believe it? Do you not believe it? I mean, there are, whether you do or not, there are, organizations and big retail chain stores who are taking their own actions. So Walmart and Dick's, they are not selling firearms and ammunitions to people younger than 21.
These stores aren't even like gun stores. They are retail stores that just happen to sell guns.
That was my point.
True.
I go to Dick's and I buy my kids swim trunks and swim goggles.
People do buy their firearm from there though. Like my stepfather is a hunter, so he gets his stuff from like Dick's and stuff like that. So
hunting goods make sense. The sporting goods store. Hunting is a sport.
But I think the point is they're trying to take action. You know what I mean? So like,
what small step can we take to be in the news enough for people to come buy things from us?
Yeah, this was a PR move.
Understandable. Understandable.
Yeah. If I was a shareholder, I would say, "Oh, you've just made a nice PR move. I support that." As a shareholder with a financial interest.
Understandable. Yeah.
Don't turn to Dick's Sporting Goods for actual gun control policy. That's still going to
be Walmart.
I understand completely. I mean, because it makes sense.
So,
but I mean, definitely bigger fish to fry.
It's a step in the right direction. So
yeah, but seeing Trump just totally be like, we don't need the Second Amendment. We're just get rid of due process.
I mean, we don't need the Second Amendment.
But it kind of made me thought, what if they just
over here with my controversial opinions?
What if reporters just suddenly start asking Trump his opinion on abortion? And someday he might just say, you know what?
I paid for 3. It's fine.
Yeah. That could totally be a statement that he makes.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
We just need to get the questions asked to him on the right day.
You know what? Exactly. When somebody's not in his ear.
One day he'll be like, no, ban abortion. And then the very next day he'll be like, abortion should be easy to get.
Exactly.
I mean, Pence's goal is to ban abortion. That's an article that came out, today? I don't even know.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Our national office sent an email about it this morning. If Trump ever made some sort of abortion should be easily accessible, Pence's head would actually explode. Like you would just see like blood draining from his ears, and then the whole thing would just poof.
I mean, that makes sense because I'm pretty sure his head is just full of like earworms anyway.
Nasty.
I would fight Mike Pence in a bar.
I would pay to see that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
X-Men villain.
On that note, we've already talked about our upcoming events, so I don't think we need to rehash them. Do you have more?
We have Crafternoon this coming Sunday.
We did talk about that.
Holy Craft 1 to 5. It's not 3 to 5. It's not 1 to 3. It's 1 to 5.
Okay.
You can be a drop-in event. Come hang out.
Yes.
Next Wednesday is our happy hour. Next weekend is the Solidarity Swap for Women Have Options. Come on Friday to drop off your clothes. Come on Saturday to get new clothes.
Yes.
I need to get new dresses because none of mine fit because pregnancy makes your body weird.
That is a thing.
Yes.
It's real weird.
Gabe's like, I cannot relate, but okay.
I can relate. I'm just not going to comment.
Pregnancy didn't make your body weird, or it did?
I've seen it happen, and I have no further comment.
It's probably smart.
Yes.
You still wear black dad jeans though, so
black dad
that's
jeans.
what you can swap. You can swap your black dad jeans
and this awesome shirt.
Yes. Well, you're still wearing black jeans.
Pro-choice men. The best.
Maybe I'll bring this shirt and I'll put it in the swap thing so that somebody could swap out and get the shirt.
I mean, you could just you have infinite numbers of shirts at your disposal, technically. So
yeah. Okay, and sign up for Advocacy Day.
Yes, and then the 24th, I just created a Facebook event for this today. We have the 2nd annual Bust and Stigma, which is a burlesque and comedy event to raise money for Women Have Options. It's gonna be at Bossy Girls. It's gonna doors open at 8, show at 9 because I like to be in bed before 2. It was over before midnight last year. It was awesome.
Nice.
That is excellent. Okay.
Right.
Other events?
Probably.
Lots of stuff. Link in the show notes. Check out our Facebook page. It always has the most up-to-date calendar for events that we're putting on, plus other groups that we work with. So,
yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Okay. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.